All right, welcome everybody to our monthly meetup here at VBout. Today we have an awesome topic. We'll be talking about the digital marketing trends for 2023. As you all know, digital marketing trends change so fast, and every year new trends come in, some trends continue, they evolve. So our job here at VBout, obviously, and what we do at nature of our technology and everything, is that we are always trying to kind of harness the latest, where things are headed, where engagement lies. And we're going to be summarizing for you today the trends that you need to be focused on. So it's a really nice topic, getting ahead, for next year to come. And we'll keep it as interactive as possible. I have with me also some of my co-organizers and a great guest. So I'm just going to introduce Elsa real quick. Hey, Elsa, are you with us? And can you hear us?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm here. And I'm so
All right.
excited for this meetup. It's the last meetup for 2020, 2022. I'm stuck in 2020.
You're stuck in 2020. All right. These are not the trends we've been discussing. But Elsa puts together all the slides and presentation, coordinates the invite. So thank you so much, Elsa. We have George as well, who puts together the content. Hey, George, can you hear us?
Yes, Richard, I can hear you. Hello, everyone. Hello, Elsa. Hello, Jalal.
All right. And then, of course, I have with us our awesome guest today, Jalal from Let's Market It, our SEO partner, who is one of our driving force behind optimizing DevOps SEO content. And he'll be talking about one of the trends today, which I just gave away too early. Jalal, are you with us and can you hear us?
Yes, and thank you for ruining my moment, Richard. I'm very, very excited to be with you guys, and I cannot wait to talk about SEO.
All right, awesome. Welcome, Jalal. Otherwise, I have with us all the members who are attending. I will not be able to keep up on Facebook, so George, you'll be monitoring that. But I have Blaine, I have Kayo, Chris, ×2, Dan, Gary again, or Jerry, John, Drinkwater, John Friedman, JSDB, Michael Kenan, Mike, Molly, Naman, Umaru, Ryan from VBout team as well. We have Scott, Sheila, Terry, Hardy, Tanya Crisp, and Tony Marcozzi. Welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. Please feel free to drop in the chat any questions you might have. George and I will be moderating and answering every single question, promise. And of course, we will be sharing with you links on some of the stuff and the topics we'll be discussing. So keep an eye on the chat. And feel free to introduce yourself as well. Tell us your name, your company, maybe a quick one-liner about what you do. And if you want to drop in your LinkedIn so we can all connect together, that would be awesome as well. Now, before we get started with the topic for today, I just want to give you a brief of our community. The VBout community is growing and everybody is contributing in one way or another, whether they're asking questions, they send email to each other, and they participate on our Facebook group. Feel free to use this platform to either try to recruit people or to put out a gig, to ask technical questions. We definitely love to engage with you on our Facebook group. George will be putting in the link in the chat so you can join us. We are all combined across channels. I think close to 30,000, safe to say, but conservative number, 20,000 engaged. And we do these meetups once a month, except for mid of the year break and in December with the holidays. Every month we discuss different topic and we bring you the latest in marketing technology, marketing trends, and also just tips and tricks overall. I also wanted to ask a quick request from everybody here, and I promise you we'll reciprocate, guys. If you are on TikTok, we just released our channel, And believe it or not, with as little followers as we have, we're getting some amazing engagement back from our TikToks. So this is the link. Okay, I'll put in the chat as well. It's tiktok.com. If you follow us, we will follow back and we will engage with your content if you're posting on some great content out there. But we'd love to kind of push those short form videos. Another topic we'll be discussing today, and I just gave away as well. Okay, so this is our TikTok. Please follow us, support our channel. We will support you back. And we're only pushing 1 minute long videos on there. All good content for you. Now, when it comes to the layout or what we're doing today, general intros, which was I'm doing right now, I'll dive into the presentation and I'll take Q&A at the end, even though I'm keeping the Q&As coming in throughout the presentation. But if you have longer form questions, something a little bit unrelated, I'm happy to stay a little bit longer and answer you on these. Now, if, most of you might have heard already of VBout. VBout is our company here where we built a marketing technology stack, AI powered. We made our interface extremely simple, or as simple as possible. We also have it at a great price, and we provide premium support, some of the best in the industry. Proud to say that my team and I, with a small team that we have, we're able to secure some of the top placements on the market based on affordability, customer support, the depth of the features, the ease of use, administrative functions of the platform. So all of this we really focus on, and we strive to provide an awesome customer experience. Some of the tools that are in VBout, if you're new to VBout, we have landing pages, forms, and pop-ups. So if you're collecting leads, we got your back through our tools. You can build them, design them in VBout, and capture all those leads in VBout. And then once you've collected those leads, we do all the tracking from there on. How many pages they visited, links clicked, emails open, SMS, engagement. So we track really in depth all the engagement for each of your customers. You can also build automated sequences with our drag and drop automation builder. We have email campaigns and newsletters, social media listening and publishing. You can also run beautiful analytics across all these channels. And we have a soft CRM. Also, you can use it as a pipeline manager. So we have a lot of tools and more to come within the platform. We help you organize your marketing stack is really what we do here. We integrate very well with other platforms. As you can see, whether it is native integrations, third-party integration, middleware, either way, we have built so much because we play very well with other platforms on the market. This way, you can send data back and forth between us and your platform of choice. At the end of the day, our mission is really to facilitate the communications between businesses and their end clients and prospects. That's really the manifesto at VBout. And we try to do it with all the tool sets that we provide, and to give you all the visibility on where your traffic is coming from, how many conversions were clocked, and the entire timeline of the lead. That's really our manifesto. And if you are to tell me where we are in the market, how we stack up against others, we are between the underkills of the world. These are a lot of products that offer great features, but they might leave some to be desired versus those who offer a lot and they come at a price point that's quite expensive. Especially now with recession in the horizon, everybody talking about it, you'll find VBout a very compelling product for your company. And a lot of migrations coming to us are really based on, I want to save 5, 10, and even in some cases 20,000 a year because I'm paying 4 or 5 grand for a HubSpot license. So they come to us and they realize they can find a lot of the marketing focus features on VBout. So this is it, guys. I just wanted to give a little shout out for my company, my team who's been sponsoring these events for the past 8 years. And if you want to talk to any of our success managers, I have Ryan with me on the call. He can definitely assist and see if VBout is the right fit for you. If you're new to VBout, of course. We partner up with digital agencies for a reseller platform. We also support referral campaigns if you just want to do a referral program. I'll drop in the chat right here a link to our demo requests and an option to communicate with Ryan. He's awesome. He's not a pusher seller. He just understands your requirements and he will tell you immediately if you're a good fit or not. All right. Just a quick pause here. Does my mic is still working okay, George? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Richard. That's great.
Cool. Well, let's get started, you guys. Again, welcome everybody that joined. We're 33 members so far, and a few also on live. By the way, all the recording and the slides, the conversation will be shared with you after. So if you missed anything or you have to drop off, do not worry. We want you to repurpose the content of this presentation for your own needs. So if you want to rewrite your own blog article and post it on your own site, please feel free to do so. We'd love link back Juice to kind of give us that SEO boost, but we give you full permission to repurpose our content for your own use. And I'll talk about some content repurposing method, by the way, down in this slide. Cool. Let's start first with reviewing our content or the trends for the past year to kind of put things in perspective. I know it's been an awesome year, a crazy year with a lot of changes. But I think the first trend that we discussed last time, which seems like yesterday, quite crazy, is more emphasis on customer experience. More and more companies have realized that marketing is not just a function of sending out messages, but also retaining customers in the pipeline, not losing churning clients because of bad customer support. So a lot of companies have put emphasis on customer experience, whether they have cross-channels, that means they provide proper email onboarding, they provide proper chat support, email, phone, whatever it is. Providing great customer experience cross-channel is key, and a lot of companies have invested heavily in this. We've seen them on Vivout because of the onboarding sequence we helped some of them build. They're all focused on onboarding, getting clients more acquainted with their products or service and so on. Some of this core personalization as well that takes place in customer experience is it needs to be tailored around the service that the customer is interested in and their placement in the funnel. So we've seen some of the mistakes of companies sending onboarding when someone is still evaluating and not ready for onboarding. So some of these kind of personalized messages with people's names, information, and sending them at the right time was also a big emphasis when it comes to customer experience. And branching out beyond email is also really key, guys. A lot of companies have gone back to SMS. Web push is available through Vivout. If you haven't explored this channel, I highly encourage you to, because it's completely free. It's a new channel, and it's a very simple prompt that you can program to be pushed on some web parts of your website. If you haven't explored it, we have tons of resources on it. It takes literally 1 to 2 minutes to get it up and running. Okay, and definitely bots, chatbots have been trends for the past few years. We did a segment on it, I think, in 2020. Always good to use chatbots to kind of qualify and get leads to the system if that's the way you book appointments. The second trend we discussed was the rise of the first-party cookie. Everybody has seen a lot of changes, especially with Facebook advertisements. I think I just heard that Facebook had to lay off 11,000 people. And I think that's a direct reflection of their huge drop in their ad revenue. Now, with that being said, first-party cookie is you gathering the data around your customers and owning, in some sense, that data. That means you know exactly when Richard came to your site, at what time, how many emails he opened, if he purchased something in the past. So building that interest graph around each one of your leads or customers allows you to be more in control of your data. So obviously that translates into better segmentation and better targeting. And this data is easily collected when your clients fill out a form. When they make a purchase through your, let's say, Shopify WooCommerce, they see a pop-up with a 10% off and they fill out their information there as well. So this is how you can gather first-party first-party data from your clients and build that profile around them. And I just discussed this a couple of minutes ago, guys, when I talked about what VBOT's manifesto is to gather all the information in one place. That's literally what first-party cookie is. Now, you know, Apple has blocked third-party cookies, and lots of changes are coming in the industry. We've seen a lot of kind of efforts from Google and Microsoft to also stop supporting third-party cookies by 2024, 2025. Cool. Before I continue with the summary of 2022, any questions, George, here or on Facebook?
No, Richard, all good for now.
Awesome. If you guys just joined, welcome. We're up to 38 right now. This will be shared after the recording, the slides, and everything you're seeing. So you're not going to miss out on anything as long as you're part of our email list or our Facebook group. George will keep on dropping in our Facebook and TikTok. This is our new channel, TikTok, so I'm pushing it today. So you can follow us and be part of a growing community, primarily so we can share knowledge with you and get your feedback on products and features we're building. So thank you for joining. Right now, I'm going through summary of 2022. What were the trends and some of the changes that we saw? All right, so we included the branding trend, especially with designing websites and landing pages. And we really tried to follow a lot of these trends inside VBOT's landing page designs. So you saw this year a little bit more push on simplistic designs, little kind of graphics, distorted graphics and stuff like this in our landing page themes that we push out. And these were the trends in 2022, focusing on simplicity, minimal, you know, just a couple of tones of colors, not going crazy. Some, however, went a different route and they did more, you know, focus on symmetry, illustrations, overlapping elements, and stuff like this. So it doesn't matter really what direction you go with, but I think, you know, what captures attention is always simpler than you think. This one on the bottom is a banking example. Can you imagine a bank breaking out of the corporate design to do something as quirky as this? And on the left, it was an e-commerce brand which sells a few products. It was extremely simple, clean, elegant, and I get to the information pretty much right away. So these were some of the design trends from last year. And again, you've seen some of those new themes that we've designed in our landing page builder, as well as email, by the way, being pushed out. I have a few more from last year. One is focusing on building engaged communities. We've done an amazing job here at VBOT, and I tap George on the back here for what he's done with LSAP on really getting people to ask questions, post feedback. We get more signups to our events, and we have happy clients who push in suggestions that gets transferred to our roadmap and then get pushed back as a feature. So being part of this community is really rewarding for everybody, and I want to thank everyone here who has contributed with a question or even a simple view or a like. It really means the world to us because your feedback is what helps us build the product. So building communities has been another trend. And I was just giving you a case study here at VBOT of us focusing on that and seeing great results because it drives awareness, right? That's all it is at the end of the day. And post-COVID, people are used right now to, you know, be more engaged and more involved in community. And you'll find certain people are more vocal than others. And I love those who can just say it as it is and give us their feedback. You'll get all personalities when you start harvesting a strong community, which is appreciated. All right, more partnerships and integrations. We've seen tools just fade away last year because they had very weak integrations. And honestly, any product out there on the market, one of the first things you should ask before you ask pricing, before you ask anything, is how many products you integrated. In the last year, we rolled out 8 new integrations between Pabbly Connect. We enhanced our Zapier integration. We have Sync Spider, Integromat, Make, and a few others. So we know the power of integrations. We want you to be able to have systems speaking to each other. And not only that, to get found in the marketplaces of certain products. Like, for example, we're waiting on our Shopify store release. We had a private app. Now we're trying to roll it out as live, but it's quite complicated. Will give us visibility as well. So a lot of companies invested in building integrations so they can get visibility through those party apps. Okay. So we've seen more and more companies integrate or partner up. So some of our partners has come to us and said, we want to build integrations code free on your side. We will invest in the integration ourselves. We just want you to partner with us on pushing it to your community so they know about this integration. So it's a great strategy if you have the dev resources to build it. All right. We've also seen a big shift on email engagement with click-throughs replacing open rate as the primary metric for email success. As you know, Apple changed a lot of the strategies and they released their update almost like a year and a half ago, where they said all emails will be open natively regardless of who sends it. So that means that you have seen some open rates that were not accurate. Now, some companies have created a little bit of the technology check upon opens and clicks. And by the way, this mail privacy protection that's primarily for Apple was on open rates, but there are other systems out there that clock in clicks as well automatically. So here at Vbout, to proactively be on top of this, we built a bot detection on clicks, and we are working proactively on detecting false open rates that are triggered by bots or servers like Apple's. So these are things to be aware of as well. Ask your marketing company or software if they have these in place, so you understand that your open rates can be skewed. But for the meantime, a lot of companies focus on click-through rates as well as conversions on the website. So if your product can track conversions, how many people clicked, how many people went to the site and ended up buying, especially if you have an e-commerce, these metrics have been priority for a lot of companies. Now, I personally consider my bounce rates and complaint rates and unsubscribes as a success metric, because every campaign that goes out is expected to have some of these. So my success is when it's as low as possible. I count that our efforts to keep a clean list, highly engaged contacts and subscribers is really important. So always look at those metrics, even though they might piss you off if you have 20 people complained out of 100,000. But at the end of the day, keeping these below 0.01 for complaints, 0.1 for bounces. You never want to have high bounces. If you're keeping it at that low, you should be definitely content. So I think this is it for last year's trend. Anybody wants to add anything, or anybody has insights on things they've seen last year? I'm happy to take on questions, or if you raise your hand, I can just kind of allow the speak mode on your end. Does anyone want to add anything for last year's trends? George, anything on Facebook?
No, not yet, Richard.
Cool. I think everybody was looking forward for the future. So let's move on then for next year's trend and the things you'll see more and more companies talk about. Now, some of these you probably have heard of because we talk about them a lot in Vbout in preparation for next year. And some of this stuff has already been launched and you might be using some of them, right? So let's start first with AI content generation. This is a huge category this year. especially with more and more products getting funding to focus on those products, on those features. So to give you an example, the writing content for marketers has always been a bottleneck because they want to start from an inspiration. So they go out and they search for copying content from other brands. They get inspirations from there, repurpose them, and write their own copy. Now, to take this one level up, AI content generation is you feed commands to an engine. A command can be a prompt, just like you see here. This is what we built here at VBout. You specify the email content or the type. What is your name of your service, and a brief short description, and it will generate few different variations of copies for you. Fully branded to you, is not being copied from another brand. An AI engine is writing that content for you. Now, of course, you can tweak it. It's a great start. But instead of you having to figure out the commands, it's fully baked into the VBout system. It saves you a lot of time in doing that research and getting inspirations from other brands. And also it has a structure for you that you can follow. Now you can personalize better as well. So if you have the way we broke it down by welcome email, by downtime, by event announcements, product releases, I think some renewals. So we have it broken down nicely to you. This way you can create specific content for email based on these different categories. So the first category in AI content is for email for sure. The second category is content for ads that are AI generated. A lot of people struggle with that as well. I see them firsthand. Jasper is one company that just got, I think, over 50 million in funding that helps you do some of that stuff, where you can generate copy for an ad and it gets pushed back to Facebook or AdWords, I believe. Okay. And I think that content can be evolving as well based on the performance of the ad. So some ads might perform in a specific pattern for a week, and then the copy will tweak itself a week later for something a little bit more optimized for the audience. Okay, you'll see more and more maturity on that front this year. I think Jasper does write content for blogs, but I'm including a different example from Copy AI. So here you can generate blog articles and get SEO tips. So you generate, you actually feed the engine some ideas, choose a couple of categories, and then the engine can create content for you, for your blog posts. And one tip for everybody here from when it comes to content that I've seen companies deploy, okay, hopefully it's not going to get abused, but what some companies are doing it, and it's super smart, they're going through videos that are really good content on the web. They're transcribing those videos and downloading the transcriptions, feeding the transcription to some of these engines in AI content generation to spin off a different kind of content on the other side. So they're not really writing content originally, they're getting ideas from one place, repurposing that content using AI engines. Okay. And I mean, this is a really smart way to generate content, but of course, I always advise you put your own touch to it. So you're not just taking the AI content as is. Last but not least, on the AI content generation side of things, I mean, this is amazing. You can feed a command and get an image back. For example, on the right side, you can say, people, cats playing basketball in space. And then the engine will generate something like this for you, just from the command. This one right here, you can say something like space, big windows, and then generate this, and then add space with big windows with couch and generate this on the right side. It's amazing how much AI can produce for you when it comes to imagery. And this is only getting better. It could also detect objects in images. It can remove backgrounds in images. So lots of things you can do. And last but not least, a new, very recent kind of launch by OpenAI is the ability to generate music through commands. So that means I can say, play a drum and guitar I don't know, certain style, like Led Zeppelin style, and that will generate some music for you through AI. Third-party tools are able to extract different music and notes. So if you're playing, let's say, a symphony, they could extract 50 different instruments that were inside that symphony and what each instrument also has played in terms of the notes. This is amazing from a music applications perspective. So anybody here with us who is involved in music, they will appreciate this sort of technology, because now you can take, I don't know, Four Seasons by Vivaldi, break it down into all these different crazy little mini snippets, mix it in your own software, and come up with a completely different music and inspiration. So this is a trend for upcoming year, AI content generation on all fronts. I'm really hoping to see some great stuff on Vivat. And I think one more here, which is how we did it. I think we talked about the email, generating email copy inside Vivat. I think that was the first slide, right, George?
Yes, the email one.
Right. So that's the first trend for this year. Anybody want to add anything, ask questions? I'm happy to pause real quick and take your feedback, guys. And thank you, everyone who joined us. We have 40 people right now interested in learning about the latest digital trends for 2023. If you just joined, we will be leaving our link to our Facebook group and our TikTok. We would love to have you part of our community so we can share all this amazing content via those channels, the slides, the presentation, the recordings, and all the upcoming releases as well. George, do you mind just dropping those links again in chat?
Sure. We're also, Richard, having Dennis Williams on Facebook. He's joining us there. He said that API seems to be a trend too. What about APIs? Would it be possible in the future?
Well, APIs, as in APIs have always existed and they will keep to exist. I mean, from now till forever. So just to make sure about APIs. Dennis, if you can elaborate a little bit more, that would be great, because obviously this is a growing segment and APIs are built into most systems. That's not really a trend. It's an everlasting requirements as far as I'm concerned.
And also, Richard, we're having a comment from Tony.
Okay, I think I lost my view. I'm sorry, just 1 second. So somebody's asking, how about AI avatars? Naman, the category of AI generated content, be it avatars or copy for email or whatever, is obviously insanely big. I'm not quite sure what you refer to by avatar, just like the face of a person, like my face as an avatar, you mean? While Naman is typing. Oh, yes. So synthetic voice, in a sense, you just feed. Absolutely. So thank you, Naman, for bringing this up. More and more people kind of using avatars of people speaking. So let's say I have a script and I want to create an onboarding video for my clients, but I'm too shy to be speaking. There are lots of solutions out there right now. And maybe, Naman, you can drop on the link here for everybody. But you can actually feed the content to this avatar. The avatar will speak. You choose the background, you choose the voice, the character, the face. And depending on the product, they might offer you like 20 different options or so, even the accents. And from there, it can narrate the copy. So for example, instead of me speaking all this stuff, I can feed this into that engine. I've looked into it. I think it's a great tool. It's promising because now they have worked around, they've done a lot of improvement to text to speech. Back in the days, it used to be so robotic, it was horrible. But now they were able to kind of work around how sentences work together, how to pause, how to make it sound more natural. Still, you can tell a little bit, but for those who are just watching a quick 2-minute video, these avatars can be really impressive. So thank you for suggesting this, Naman. And yes, synthesis.io is the link. I think you just sent it to the panelists. George, can you reshare that and for public?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So Dennis, you're asking if we can connect any API to VBot. Yes, absolutely. We have an open API as long as the other side has an API as well. Okay. Cool. So I have, I think, another question. Will VBot embed any AI platforms into its email tools? So Tony, we already launched an AI email content generation. Okay. We have something else predictive as well, sending. We're going to have predictive time automation worked on for next year. And we're looking into potentially doing integrating the images in there as well. That's not something that we're 100% sure of yet when it comes to the imagery, because honestly, it's not quite mature. It might look a little bit quirky, but yeah, we already started with the AI content generation. It is available. So yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Tony. So let's move on to the second trend here. We have more mature machine learning. Machine learning has been one of the peaks in the marketing trends for the past 4 or 5 years, but the application was so limited that now it's seeing more maturity. Okay. It made so much progress because the amount of data that we learn that is meaningful has obviously come a long way. For example, in VBOT, we created predictive sending. So instead of you figuring out the best time to send out emails, you let us find out for each one of your contacts, what is the best time to deliver the message in their inbox. Because we study their open rates for the past, we study their clicks from the past, and based on these, we can make the best bets. And we've seen amazing results based on this. Jumping the average open rates from 12 to 13% open, all the way to 27, 30% opens. It's doubled a lot of the companies' open rates by deploying this technology. It does take some time for the engine to learn. So give it around 8 to 10 campaigns. And after the 10th campaign, the system will eventually learn, pick up on the pattern for each of your contacts, and build a profile for better delivery. Okay, that's one application for machine learning that has come a long way. And I can guarantee you, every single one of you here on the call today has used today some sort of a machine learning powered engine. Be it you're browsing LinkedIn feed and you saw my video talking about the event, or be it you're going to watch Netflix, you were watching Netflix earlier and you got a recommendation for a video, or you launch your Google app map and it recommended some things around you. So whatever it may be, we're using machine learning heavily through our products, but it's gotten more mature, especially when it comes to marketing. So here I mentioned in VBOT the ability to predict the best time to send out emails, and it's going to be baked into our automation too. So you can start a whole sequence for people based on their engagement. And obviously it helps across the board execute better campaigns. I mean, as a person receiving content from brands, I really want the messages to be tailored to me, delivered at the best optimal time that I'll be interested in. Okay. Another thing you'll see as well when it comes to machine learning is predicting the likeliness of somebody making purchase decisions. This has been a challenge forever, but I think now we have enough information to build, I don't want to say perfect profiles, but better profiles and better predictions. So we can study the behaviors of, let's say, 100,000 people with a brand and see how many of them open emails at what time, their entire behavior across the different channels, and who of them convert to customers. And accordingly, for any new leads, we can start to kind of match profiles, because it becomes pattern-like, especially when you're a big brand working with hundreds of thousands of potential customers and and leads and such. Okay. So when it comes to lead scoring, predictive lead scoring, and using machine learning to enhance that is something for upcoming year. And I mentioned building profiles around previous engagement. So for example, Pamela, who is between the age of 20 and 35, who works in technology. She has a degree. She also leasing a car. She owns a house valued at 600,000 and lives in the United States. That's a profile that could be also matched against as a macro from each of the individuals that join later on. Okay. And this can come from also being fed all those endpoints from enrichment. So because we now have access to this data, be it my credit score, my previous car purchases, my insurance company, public data, and trust me, if you log in today to any of your credit cards online and you dig in through their options and settings and sections, there is a section that asks you how you'd like to share that information with partners. And this is where the gray area is. I turn off all that stuff and I highly encourage you to do that. But that data often gets transferred into public information. And a lot of big brands spend top dollars to enrich data so they could target you more effectively, okay? Except sometimes you end up buying things you don't need if the brand is doing crazy work here. So that's when it comes to lead scoring and data enrichment. Any questions on this? All right, Dr. Dre shared an example from Synthesia. Yes, thank you. Appreciate that. Stable diffusions. I think these are no questions, George, on Facebook.
Dennis replied regarding the APIs, if you remember.
Yeah, I think I answered him in terms of VBot connects with any API out there, but some things need to be built or use like a middleware, Zapier, Pabbly, or something like that.
We have Ramesh is asking about the future of link building, which I think Jalal, when he will be talking
We'll
about,
talk about this,
the
yes.
SEO part, will answer.
Yes, thank you. Awesome, we're almost there. Now, when it comes to more machine learning, sentiment analysis is definitely part of it. Because now, and that's something we're working on in VBOT, will let you kind of analyze your social feed so you can see what kind of engagement is driving you the best result. Is it the negative tweet getting you the most positive engagement, or is it the positive tweet getting you the most negative engagement? So we're trying to kind of build this very basic framework that lays the track for future suggestions and implementation that will be fed into the AI engine, right? So machine learning and AI, obviously, these are two kind of branches of artificial intelligence overall, and they could be working together. So be on the lookout for these things, sentiment analysis of your social media, the type of content that's getting the most engagement and that type of stuff. Not to mention posting recommendations to figure out the best times to post on social. It's not something really new, but I think nowadays engagement has gone off the charts for certain types of content, which I'll talk about in a minute. So this is it from my side. I think we're going to talk about SEO now, the second trend. We always talk about SEO, I think, every year because it impacts everything, especially top of the funnel, content generation, landing page building. So without further ado, I have my colleague, Jalal, who runs Let's Market It. Jalal, are you with us?
Yes, sir. I managed to stay awake, so I'm happy.
Awesome. Jalal is at almost 1 a.m. in the morning to be sharing this content. So go for it, Jalal. You want me to keep my screen and I can go through the stuff, or what do you prefer?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Richard. Basically, continuing on the whole machine learning, Google recently updated their algorithm again. They usually do that in September. It's when it was fully rolled. Again, we go back to content and the the purpose behind the update is they basically want to allow those that don't necessarily have SEO experience to rank on Google. Because what has been happening, sorry, Richard, if you don't mind just going through. So what has been happening in the past, we always want to rank, we always want to be organic. So we go on Google and then we start typing all these information. What do we need to do? Do we need to have 3 backlinks, 1 internal link? You know, how many times do we have to repeat this keyword? And companies pay lots of dollars to be able to rank. And those that cannot afford that are writing, you know, genuine content, good content that actually helps, but they're nowhere to be seen. So Google is getting more and more, you know, smarter in terms of determining what type of content is actually helping and what type of content is using the, you know, the algorithm strategy to be able to rank. And so the purpose of this update is to allow those that have written genuine content that helps to give it a bit of a boost to show it up on Google results. Please, Richard.
Sure. So does that mean, Jalal, that those who are investing heavily in optimizing their SEO and all that stuff will get the same a chance in front of Google for someone who's just pushing out amazing content and not worrying about those small tactics?
Give and take. Yes, yes, and no. This is going to take a while for us to get there, but we will definitely end up at that juncture in some time. The idea is, at some point, I do believe within a couple of years, Google will let go of what we call the focus keyword. It's not going to be a focus keyword anymore. It's going to be a focus topic. People are going to write content, or they're going to have to adapt their content strategy to be able to answer the main questions that the person is coming to the website or to the webpage to read. And so if we don't answer these questions, this is not going to help us rank. Yes, we can still spend money. Yes, we can still do backlinking, you know, build our, you know, offsite SEO strategy, if that makes sense. But then again, we genuinely have to sit down and think, you know, what you said earlier, focusing around the customer. If I'm reading something, what is the purpose of it? Is it genuinely helping the other person that is, you know, reading this content, the person that's consuming it? Am I adding all this information into one space, or am I just, you know, multiplying these pages just to tell Google, hey, I have more, you know, pages for it to be crawled? The idea is we just need to be authentic with what we're writing and how we're presenting it to the audience that are reading it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
So if your content, how do we know if the content is deemed helpful by Google? It should be created for a specific audience. It needs to have some expertise, authority, and people need to basically think of it as Google being a human being reading this content. We are getting in that direction. We were talking about AI. There's a big push towards, you know, humanizing the content and making it something that people can genuinely connect with. So bit of an advice for anyone that's wondering about SEO and how to do SEO, and, you know, it's genuinely a lot simpler than you know what it is set out to be. Just write content that comes from the heart, content that makes sense, that people want to read. Forget about the keywords, forget about how many times you have to repeat the same keyword and the subheadings and H1s and H2s and, you know, all these backlinks. Obviously do the basics, like, you know, you could install a plugin if you're on WordPress, a very, you know, free plugin. We've ranked our websites on one plugin that we just saw what was happening. You know, did we do the meta descriptions? Did we do the tags? Did we do all of that? Yes, yes, yes. So we're good. And then the page is ranked for like some really hard key phrases. So again, the idea is just keep it simple, write content that actually helps, and ignore all else. When I started doing all of the whole SEO world, I had no idea how to rank, and with practices, I realized, well, okay, I just need to sit down and just understand what the user wants to read. Honestly, the simplest form.
That's great.
I think we have one more slide, please, Richard. So if you have content on your website that has been sitting there and it's weak, you don't think, if you read it and it just doesn't add up, go ahead, remove it. Do not worry about that. Focus on the content that speaks to the audience that you want to address. Obviously, there's always going to be best practices. Follow that. Again, nothing too fancy, nothing too major. Make sure you check Google Search Console. That I've used other tools, and honestly, while other tools are amazing, I still go back to Google Search Console. Do not use low quality AI generated content, please. Not because of the plagiarism, but if reading it doesn't make sense, most likely Google will soon detect that. Don't use web crawlers. Let Google do Google. Don't bring in other tools that tells Google what to do. That pisses off Google. If the content that you're trying to publish doesn't fit what you're trying to do, just don't publish it. It's much better for you to publish something that you're comfortable in sharing with your audience, rather than just trying to shove content out to Google to be like, hey, come crawl the website. So in a very quick nutshell, just focus on what humans want to read, who your target audience are, and what content they want to look at, and your website will rank. It just takes a little bit of time, consistency, and it's there. And if anyone has any questions, I love SEO because it's you're working with a machine, and you're like trying to, in a sense, manipulate that machine to kind of see how it's reacting. So if anyone has any questions, please do not hesitate to share, message me, and I'll be more than happy to answer.
Awesome. Jalal, thank you so much. And guys, pick Jalal's brain. He's an awesome resource. I can attest to his work with us at Vbout, optimized us for a lot of keywords, helped us develop content. His team helped push content as well. George, do you mind putting, or Jalal yourself as well, if you don't mind putting your information right here in the chat for anybody who wants to talk to you, ask questions, engage with your company? I would love to have that information on
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Jalal,
for the
can I
great feedback.
address really a quick question from Ramesh, who's joining us on Facebook?
Go for
Yes,
it.
yes, please.
Yes, thank you. Ramesh is asking, what's the future of link building?
Right. So what we're doing now is we're going out of our ways, and I keep receiving these emails, and they're so annoying, where someone asks me if they can publish content on my website. And, obviously I respond back with, sure, can I publish a piece of my content on your website? And then I never hear back from them. Link building will continue to evolve, absolutely. However, when it starts happening organically and naturally, that's the future of link building. But to go shove content in other websites just for the sake of link building, that will not help. For example, one of the major source of backlinking that we have is from Vbout. Why? Because Vbout talks about marketing. We talk about marketing, so it makes sense. But if you just go and do it for the heck of it, it will help you short term, but long term, it's not going to work. It's at some point it's going to be like, well, hold on, what's the point of this link building? Is it actually helping, or is it just there to boost traffic? If it's there just to boost traffic, then most likely it will not be as effective. And again, I'm not talking about now, I'm just talking about later on down the line. So yeah, it's going to continue to happen, but it's not in the fashion that we're currently doing it.
Yes, makes sense. Thank you, Jalal.
Thank you, Jalal. Again, Jalal put his LinkedIn in there. Connect with Jalal, awesome resource. If you are worrying about SEO too much, he will put you on the right track. All right. Again, those who joined us, welcome. Some of you might have dropped or came late. We are discussing the digital trends for 2023. We're almost to the end right now, but don't worry, whatever you missed, we will be sharing the slides in the presentation. George is dropping in the chat the link to our Facebook group and the link to our TikTok. I have about 6 people that just followed us on TikTok, so thank you for those who did. We reciprocated. I would love to have more of you if possible. If you are there, follow us. We will follow back and we will support you too. So George, please drop that in the chat for everybody to follow. All right, moving on to the trend, which a great segue here, short form videos. We are in the age of TikTokification of the world. Beside TikTok, Instagram followed with their Instagram Reels and Facebook Reels. Then you have YouTube Shorts, and you can see crazy engagement through this. I will be surprised if LinkedIn does not follow with something very similar, primarily because of the format of watching those videos is very kind of focused on the video. There's no distraction. It's 9:16 ratio. So with that being said, they're public and you can set them to be displayed. Unlike stories and native posts, the reach is a lot faster and the algorithm that they've developed really work. So you'll see a lot more companies branching out into this world, primarily looking for engagement. So a lot of things has flipped. People used to gather lists and then send them to social media. Now you're getting people on social media and trying to build the list from there. So that's sort of a great trend to be at the lookout for. If you haven't created those channels, if you haven't started giving content from the heart, right? Because I think SEO is not only about your blog, it's also about your videos and your social presence. Content from the heart, especially now with the economy. One way for you to stand out is if you give information and you help people genuinely and you are there for them before you sell them anything. So with that being said, you can use those channels to get engagement, create great content, whatever that content is, educational, sharing your life, something engaging. So Instagram Reels have 2 billion monthly active users. It's crazy. I mean, there's a lot of views from one channel. And I've tested this in my algorithm with literally very minimal following. We see per video post 800 views, 900 views, 600, 200 views that we have never seen had we not posted anything. Okay. And it's easy. You can develop one platform or one video and kind of very lightly customize it for the different channels. You don't have to do a lot of work and think you have to do one video for this and then edit it for another. No. There are some tools out there. One of them is called CapCut. And the other one is called InShot. These are apps that you can literally first you record on your video, native video, you edit them in those apps, very simple to learn, you export them, and then you push them to all the channels. So there's no excuse right now for people not to be on these, and it really drives amazing engagement. And with YouTube Shorts, I don't think YouTube Shorts honestly has matured enough like TikTok or Instagram Reels. These are the two that I've seen the best engagement from. Facebook is there as well. YouTube has a lot of issues with their app, limitations on 15 seconds overlay with music. You can do up to 60 seconds video, but if you want to use their music, it's always cut at 15. If you try to upload something from TikTok, they will file a copyright claim because it has an audio from TikTok which is music they don't have licensed. So there are quite some issues with YouTube Shorts. Even though we included it here, I think hopefully next year they'll improve. But what's good about it is that it drives subscribers to your channels. And this is really what you want to encourage people. If you like our content, follow us or join us. Now, different ways or different types of content you can produce. And honestly, there's so much that we can focus on. One, you can take your blog posts and you can turn them into small form videos. Okay. Heck, maybe you can use a synthesis.io to create those TikToks, right? Feed them the script, take some headlines from your blogs, create the synthesis and create those videos and upload them. Now, do I recommend this or not? I don't know. You gotta test it. Maybe on social media and these short form videos, they prefer real people. But I'm all for testing. That's one way to do it, is take your existing content, break it down to short articles. We started this, and thanks to Elsa, who spent 5 days just nonstop taking parts of events like this, cutting them into 60-second segments, meaningful 60 seconds, and asking people if they want to watch the whole thing to click on the video below. We're going to be pushing this. We literally have half the year already planned from all these content. So this is a 1-hour presentation. I can literally have about 30 different reels from it or TikToks. Don't underestimate the power of repurposing your content, and don't be camera shy. Don't think editing is too difficult. When I first started editing those videos, it was painful for 5 minutes. And then I'm like, wow, this is actually what kept me from not doing it forever. So don't sweat the small stuff, get started with it, recycle the existing content. Another source of copy, if you tell me I don't have any blog articles, I don't have any presentations like this, not only at VBOC, we give you a lot of the content for you to repurpose, but you can take your existing customers' FAQs. Even if you have one customer, you can literally jump on a call with them, buy them lunch, and ask them a series of questions, record them, transcribe them, and turn them into videos. You can even go and search for certain topics online to kind of gather some of that stuff yourself and create your own content. So content is out there, and your expertise combined together, you can the sky's the limit. Awesome. So let me see here. I think the last slide on short form videos. No, that's it. Any questions? I have from Kazim, this site helped real automatic contentgroove.com. Thank you, Kazim, for the share. Check them out, guys. I don't know that website, so that's totally Kazim's suggestion. And Jalal, yes, consistency is key. You might fall short a few days or whatever, but it's fine. As long as you're pushing and you're consistent, the engines will notice that this channel is active. So I'm pretty sure part of their algorithm is how many videos they have per day, per week, per month, recency, date, less updates, less logins. Yeah, so be consistent. Awesome. All right, I'm going to skip to the rest here. We have marketing in the metaverse, you guys. Everybody has heard it last year. Facebook is investing heavily in the metaverse because they know that's the future. But now you can advertise in the metaverse. Anybody can go and create their own space. You have objects, for example, in Facebook Quest 2. I built my own version of my neighborhood where I grew up. It looks very simple with like blocks and stuff, but they give you all the tools. They give you shapes, they give you objects like clouds, they give you stairs, they give you doors, and you can literally program your own space, and you can make that space available for others to kind of come in and hang out in there, right? So what that means is you can create a virtual experience of your store, your product, your office, and invite people to come in. Obviously, they need their 3D goggles on to be able to participate. But then in there, you can take them on a tour. You can showcase your products. You can have them watch a video in there as well. I don't know how mature that part is. I think it's something that I read is coming. And some brands are actually investing in very basic games. I think American Girl dolls, they do it very well. They invest in technology and games for kids so they could actually play. And then eventually that translates into sales long term, right? So investing in games needs a little money, but some brands have been deploying that. You'll see more and more this year. And Shopify is investing in AR and 3D, artificial augmented reality and 3D. with shopping experiences, and they're working on NFTs. Now, more things as well as metaverse is rising. You all heard early this year, a lot of companies are buying real estate for big dollars. Some real estate sold for half a million, and some have sold for millions. Real estate in the digital worlds are places where you can build your own metaverse, in a sense. Hopefully, I'm not messing up the terms. And people can literally just go and hang out there, play games there, watch videos. They can use some of the stuff that you offer there, being avatars and stuff like that. So people have invested in digital real estate, big money earlier this year, because there's long-term ideas is that where the crowd is, that audience that live and breathe the stuff, they could end up buying and becoming consumers. So the source for this one is sandbox.game. Check them out. But the metaverse, marketing in the metaverse is becoming something of today. And then you have obviously advertisement and forms of billboards, like this one, for instance, from Football Manager. They have banners. You can buy banner placements, and people playing the game can see your brands. And if you want to dive a little deeper and on something more focused, you have game advertising. So as you're playing, let's say this game right here, you'll see like a big banner right there, right? That's a noticeable sort of ad. So this is kind of where things are. You'll hear more companies trying to figure out how to invest in the metaverse when it comes to their marketing budgets. Any questions on this?
No, Richard. We only had a question on Facebook from Ramesh, but it's not related to metaverse. It's related to AI content.
Sure. Do you mind if we just hold off on this, because I'm a little over time? So those who will wait here for the last category, so I can skip through it and I can stay for that question if that's okay. Then we have live commerce, guys. This is, I think, a very promising segment. Obviously, live video is nothing new, but being able to make a purchase right there and then, as I'm speaking right now, clicking one button and checking out, not leaving Zoom at all, is the future of live commerce. And maybe you're browsing your feeds and you see people kind of selling. I mean, for God's sake, I've seen people sell swords and little chicken eggs with shapes on them on TikTok. It's insane how much people are using live streaming to sell. So you'll see a lot of brands that are in the e-commerce space try to deploy this. If you are an agency and you want to focus on a niche that's growing in the future, live commerce could be it. You can be a service specializing in helping those companies take their products in e-commerce and turn them into live commerce. And parts of it is checking out, not only selling a product, it could be selling a service, but you check out as you're watching the video and you complete the full purchase. Now, this has been driven not only by the TikTokification of the world, but also post-COVID, people are starting to invest more online. They're not afraid to, a grandma now can make a purchase online, where 5 years ago, old school were a little bit kind of hesitant to share credit cards online. And I've seen this firsthand with family members and people that I know. Now, this is just take out a credit card. It's probably stored on some third-party API, and you're just ready to make a purchase. All right, last trend here, guys. This one is sort of new even to me. So thank you, George, for finding this new trend. Zero-party data. Basically, what zero-party data is, people explicitly giving you information, not only in a form, and I'll show you a comparison, but more in the survey format is what I gathered from this. And it's just a term, right? Zero-party data. So you have interactive survey, people will fill out their preferences. It's all about understanding people's preferences. And through those preferences, getting your marketing strategy built. Now, whether this anonymized or not is a different story, but explicit sharing of preferences, things that I like, activities and hobbies and things like this, in exchange for some sort of a prize, a better personalization and stuff like that. This one is maybe a little bit small, but first party data is then when I collect my customers' information through purchases and stuff like that. Versus zero party, they actually collect them via some sort of a story, a form, or a short survey. So it's slightly different in that context. When it comes to first party data, is more relevant and accurate than external sources. Whereas zero party is highly relevant and accurate because they're answering a very specific question. So this is a quick chart. I'll make sure you guys get this as part of the slides. And I think with zero party data is just full consent on getting all that information from them. George, I shared this right?
Yes, exactly, Richard. Just that
Awesome.
the first part data relied on gathering people information from landing pages, pop-ups, whereas, as you mentioned, where you, for example, ask someone to update his preference or choose which emails he would like to receive or get information from interactive surveys, that would be zero-party data.
Awesome. So that's it, guys, when it comes to the trends for 2023. I'm pretty sure there are a few more, but these are the ones we thought were very relevant for the community. So let me recap. One, we have more content generation through AI. Okay, that's primarily email copy, blog content, ad copy, music, imagery, and synthesized voice. George, maybe we should add this as well to the slides. Trend number 2 is more mature machine learning built into a lot of the tools out there. So vet your vendors properly if they're building machine learning into some of the stuff, like best time to send out emails, sentiment analysis. Also a reinforced SEO because they are now understanding authority, good content, not only tricks around SEO optimization, which still seems to be important, but it's not the only factor. So if you have good authority, you should be in good shape. And we have the short form videos. So if you're not trying those 1-minute video tutorials, figure out a way to get and break into it, because that's just the way for the future to drive engagement. Marketing in the metaverse, it's not something that we'll probably do at VBOT personally to be advertising in the metaverse. That's not where our audience is. But if you are working with a brand or your brand that you know your audience is there, there are some services that provide advertising in games and very soon in the metaverse. I don't think that category matured enough because the technology to deliver dynamic ads is not there, but I'm pretty sure Facebook will have that figured out soon. And then we have live commerce, selling inside e-commerce, selling inside live events. And selling is literally full checkout experience. And last but not least, we're the zero-party data, where people explicitly give you information on their preferences and the things they're interested in. All right, these are some last-second resources, guys, for you. You don't have to memorize them. I'm going to include 10 different articles that are relevant to the topic today. Some of which are privacy. We didn't talk about privacy because everybody knows, we talked about it last year. It's embedded into everything we do, from consent to opt-out. We talked so much about it, we did not include it, but we have some things that are worth mentioning here. So you'll have linked to every single one of these articles as well, shared by George after. Repurpose these if you'd like for your own content. So this is it. Thank you, everybody that joined us. I'm going to take some questions right now. I know I have a couple. But please, if you are interested in marketing technology and you're on the fence choosing VBOT, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, I would love to talk to you. I'll drop in the chat a link to our demo request so you can speak to one of our success managers to determine fit. Sometimes we're not, sometimes we are perfect fit for you. But let us be your support when it comes to technology, be it through these events, be it through our products, or be it through our community and support. Okay, so George, please drop in the link to request a demo so some of those interested can speak to Ryan and determine it.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Gary, for joining us, and thank you, everybody else. I'll take any questions. What was the question again, George, from Facebook?
Yeah, the question from Ramesh, he was asking about the AI content. How will AI content ranking work? Maybe he was referring to Jasper.ai when you type, for example, a headline, and then the outline of the topic will be automatically generated.
Yeah, I think Jalal touched on this. Do not just blindly generate content through AI. That's probably going to get picked up by Google sooner or later. Now, if you want to use AI to generate content to get inspiration and starting point, I think that's a great way to use of AI. And Jalal, back me up on this if I'm saying something wrong.
100%. That's use it for inspiration, but then put your heart into what you're writing.
Yeah, put your personality, your own knowledge, your own twist, and you'll save literally probably 80% of 70%, let's say, because I've written articles before and I know when I have inspiration versus when I don't and have to come up with original content. It's completely different ballgame. But through AI, you'll have a structure, you'll have ideas and things to get inspired by. If you're repurposing content, that's easier as well. So do not just blindly generate content. You're probably going to take a hit. You don't want to generate, 100 copies and pay a lot of money for these tools. And then next year, you'll have a new update pushed out that says any copy that was generated by AI is now detected by Google. You gotta get penalized. Then you're gonna have to scrape off 100 content. Last thing you want to do. Awesome. Blaine said this was helpful and eatable. That's my 50 cents word of the day. Thank you, Blaine, for joining us. Any other questions?
Any questions before moving to 2023?
All right. Seems like we have a shy bunch here. So just to close, guys, this is our last event for the year here at VBOUT. We have a partners meeting, and that would be just for our clients and direct VBOUT users. All of you are welcome to join if you are utilizing the product. We talk about VBOUT releases, our roadmap, and we give you first access to features and things that we do. So that's going to be released by George or announced by George. And I really want to thank everybody who have joined us for the content to digest it and learn it. Some of you are actually joining us at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, which is insane to me how dedicated you are. So kudos to you. For those who attend literally month on a month, every month, also thank you. It means a lot to us that you are finding value in the content. I always tell my team, if I can inspire one person or teach one person something in those events, I've achieved my goal. I'm not looking for millions of audiences. I'm looking to influence only a few who can pass on that knowledge as well. So thank you, everybody, for your support throughout the year. I look forward for some great content to come starting back in January. But other than this, keep on the lookout in our Facebook group and our TikTok for great content and releases. And other than that, happy holidays, everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jalal, for joining us.
Yes, Jalal, thank you so much. You can go to sleep now. I know it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. And same for you, George and Elsa, you can go to sleep. Thank you for organizing and helping.
Keep my
these
eyes
events.
open.
My pleasure. You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.
You were scrolling TikTok all this time, I know. Awesome. Well, thanks, everybody. We'll share the recordings after, and have a good evening, good morning, whatever your time zone is. Bye-bye.
Bye.